Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, and um, I come to you with some news. Welcome to He Set Me Free. My name is Roberts. You know, just about the time that I start questioning my prayer life, and I just start asking questions. I was pouring over yesterday's spreadsheet, and I've pretty much figured out my last video is errored because the formula that Uber uses is quite complicated whenever it comes to dealing with what they charge the customers and how we as drivers figure that out. Because basically what it is, it's a rate per mile, rate per minute, total in trip with passenger in car of miles and minutes minus 2.5, okay, because that's base rate. So say for instance you have a trip that's 11 minutes long. You subtract 2.5 or 2.5, that gives you what, 8.5. That is chargeable time. Same thing for miles. If you drive say 12 miles, subtract 2.5 miles because that's base mileage. Okay, that's 9.5 or 9.5 miles that's chargeable at 80 cents a mile. Customer fee, which is that both of those times miles per minute and miles or rate per mile. Okay, it's complicated to say the least. So, but I got about as close as I possibly can with the 10% margin of error. We automatically know, like in my market, the base rate is $3.34. Okay, so that's basically any trip that is under 2.5 miles. That's why you subtract the 2.5 miles. And the minutes, if you look at it, it's 2.5 minutes. Okay, can't go by 6 minutes. It's 2.5 minutes, because if you was actually look at the if you could look at the breakdown of the minutes, that's what it would come up to. And if you actually saw how much a passenger is charged for those trips under 2.5 miles, you would be shocked, absolutely shocked. All right. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this, and I'm writing in my journal and I'm asking questions. But then I shift back over to my spreadsheet. And this is where the power of the Holy Spirit and the wisdom and knowledge that I've been asking God for comes into play. Yesterday, all right, I drove my total miles for Uber with passenger in car was 52 miles, or 52.5 miles. My total minutes was 163 minutes. According to Uber's math, I need you to hear what I'm about to say because this is very important. You do your total with passenger in car times that times 80 cents. You will come out with your total. Same thing for minutes, 13 cents a minute. Now this is where they get you. This is how that you know that Uber is making more. Whenever your minutes exceeds your mileage, they're making more money than you are. Because minutes is less than miles is. Okay? They want you to drive more mile or more minutes because that's how they keep you down. All right? Plus the base rate of 75 cents for my market. Okay? So whenever you add all that up before tips, it should have been $90 Okay? Listen to what I'm about to say. Yesterday, with tips, according to Uber's numbers, I was paid $94.45. Okay? If tips would have been added with the numbers that I know that I did, I should have been paid $114.45. Should have been. All right? With my numbers, okay, because there is a 5% margin because their times and their miles are different than mine, okay? They do it down to seconds where I don't. I do it straight to minutes. And plus, you know, resetting the odometer, accurate times, you know, when you accepted the ride, when you picked the passenger up, there is a margin of error there. But not that kind of margin of error. This is the crap that Lyft does. Listen to what I am about to say. Uber claims that we get 100% of the tips. What they don't say and what it looks like at the moment is they give us the tips and they subtract it from what our fare should be and keep it for themselves. They're not taking a portion of the tip. They're giving us the tip. They're subtracting it from what our total should be. I said it. Because I should have made $114.45 yesterday, according to Uber's numbers. But what they did was they gave me the tip, and from my miles, minutes, and base rate, they subtracted the tip, then put it back in. It's a sleight of the hand to show that I got the tip, but in reality, I didn't get the tip. You can't justify and lying about my numbers that I'm calling them on it this morning. I'm going to call them up and say, yesterday I drove 52.5 miles. It's basic algebra. Y equals miles M plus time T plus B base rate, that's closed in parentheses. All right. So Y equals total of miles times 0.80 cents plus time times 0.13 cents or 13 cents plus 75 times 14 rides. That equals what I should have been paid. But not only that, like I said, this is how that you know they're underhanded with it. Anytime your minutes exceed your miles in payout, you're having a bad day because that's the lesser of the two. You want your miles, which is it's never going to happen. But this is how that you know that they're shaving numbers. Because my minutes exceeded my miles by 200%. 200%. And I had an abnormal amount. 71% of my rides yesterday was $6 or under. 71%. 10 rides. 10 rides. I had 4 rides that was $7 or higher. Just about the time that I start questioning things, God opens my eyes and allows me to see this is what's going on and it has nothing to do with me. He blessed me with the rides that I got. And I am blessed for what I did receive, for what I cashed out yesterday. I paid my car insurance. I'll make my car payments in the next day or so. This is why the devil was fighting me so bad yesterday. Just like my last video. Yesterday I had this heaviness upon me. I dealt with anxiety yesterday. It was like a dark cloud went everywhere that I went. And I said I was going to have to do everything on my own. But with time and patience, the Lord showed me the formula that Uber uses to charge passengers. It's a rough, plus or minus 10%. Can't do nothing about that because you don't know the exact science. And basically what it is it's miles, or it's booking fee. Oh God, what is it? It's booking fee plus base rate, which is whatever your base rate is, $3.34 here in Waco. Booking fee is $2, plus miles, plus time. Okay? Equals your rate. Now, and that's where the complication of the formula comes in, because you have to do your total miles, subtract 2.5 because that's your base rate, subtract 2.5 from your minutes, that's chargeable minutes, multiply that with your rate per mile, rate per minute, you come up with how much that they charge, and it's right there. Because I went back to the other day whenever I asked all the passengers how much Uber charged them, and I took that formula against what they did, what they charge and what I knew, and I was within the 10% margin. There was only one ride that was different, and I didn't have enough minutes or miles. There was like an 84-cent difference, and so, or like 90 cents, something like that. So I just had to add another minute and another mile, and it was within 7 cents. So once again, God has opened my eyes and allowed me to see what Uber does. Just like in my last video, it's devil in the details. Literally, devil in the details. And I was talking about Lyft then. Well, now we know, and I am broadcasting to what it appears that Uber is doing. I will look at the math again today and see if there's any tip, and even without tips, see what they come up with and what I come up with, because those numbers should add up together, with the exception of, say, well, there'll be a 5% difference because sometimes you'll get more than you're supposed to because they can't get somebody to go pick it up, time of day, so on and so forth. What the difference is your tips. If there is, say, you get $10 in tips, you see how much your numbers are, and then you add the tip in. Like with mine, it was minus the tip. That's what they paid me. Plus, I've already talked about how I believe that Uber takes a portion of the tip. Well, they actually do, to be quite honest. They say that we get 100% of the tip, minus what they're supposed to pay us. The devil's in the details. Until next time, y'all think about what I said. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. Share. And y'all be blessed and be safe out on those roads.